7 years, yeah, a long time. I'm nothing if not sporadic. This album, unlike the last one, is very English focused. It's based around a journey from one place to another, strangely enough, fundamentally from Stoke to Anglesey. And the reason why I do albums every so often, as I've been told on many occasions, is just to prove to anybody who's interested that I'm not dead yet. The reason why this album is similar to Jolly is because it's fundamentally written from guitar, piano, and then from upwards. So I had the bones and I fleshed it out with a friend of mine who just happened to move to England. I assumed to London because that's where all musician types live, but he actually ended up living in Bradwell, which was half a mile away from me. The last album was very much a collaboration between a French thinking person who was very interested in the lexicon of lounge sound, very sort of French 60s easy sound, yeah sound. This is fundamentally has its roots and origins in English music. My initial interest in French music came from a Vogue disc that my granddad gave me when I was about 8, and although I never played it, it was a François Hardy single. I absolutely loved the label, the Vogue label. I then studied in Bordeaux and had the opportunity to be on a radio show, in fact to host a radio show for a thing called La Vie aux Grandes Arts. Now La Vie aux Grandes Arts was part of the sort of burgeoning movement of free independent radio, which was a really liberating thing at the time, and I was introduced to a lot of fantastic French music, which quite obviously I wouldn't be available to somebody from the Midlands in England. Happened to play some of the stuff that me and my mate Tim had been recording without a label and without any strict idea of getting it released. This bloke called Gilles said, "This is really, really good. Why don't you try and contact some people?" Coincidentally, a fan from Germany had been emailing me and he said, "Why don't you try these labels?" So we finished the gig at the beginning of August. I sent some stuff to some of the labels that were suggested to me, and Tapete came back and were interested in doing it. So it all happened very quickly. I mean, this time last year we had absolutely no inkling we would release this album. As a result of the La Vie aux Grandes Arts, the show and everything like that, a fundamental and a more tangible thing happened to me in that I got a record by a band called Taxi Girl, and I just thought the lyrics were superb. And fantastic, like sort of kind of like a sort of French Ray Davies to me, with a kind of punk type of mentality. The fellow who'd sang on it was Daniel Darc. Now Daniel Darc, 3 years on, happened to be on the same label as me, so I managed to search him out. And as a result, I met him, and he's really, to be quite honest, still remains one of the only true brilliant lyricist and complete artist that I've ever really come across. Fancy the idea. Song Trentham itself is a little mini tour of, as it happened, a fictitious character visiting different parts of the five towns, as we should call them, unlike what Arnold Bennett said. There is a Westport Lake, there is the Trentham Gardens. These are all places that both myself and my collaborator Tim know very well, because we visit and we go with the family and stuff all the time. The interesting one is, from my point of view, for writing, was posters, because it's my attempt to try and get a short story into a 3-minute pop song. At the time when I first started buying albums, and they were albums, a time when I couldn't afford the full price albums, so I used to buy albums from a label which was fantastic called MFP, which was Music for Pleasure, and they used to re-release amazing albums from the 60s and the 70s as double albums, very cheaply. I think they were like 49p each. And as a result, they released an album by a French singer called Polnareff, who nobody else had heard of, but I thought this was brilliant. It was that, The Idle Race and The Move were all on MFP, as I recall. And those were the albums that I used to listen to when I was very young. The actual concept of the cover itself is based in Morphra, because the final song, A Trip to the Coast, is an elegy to when me and my brothers were young, when our family, because we had relatives who always used to end up going to Anglesey, and as a result of that, I have very fixed memories of that. My dad, it was his favourite place. We decided that we were going to we'd lay his ashes there. So it's a trip to the coast is the final, and it's the final trip, and it's a very happy song, A Trip to the Coast, because it's probably the most autobiographical song I've ever written. It's probably the song that lyrically I'm most proud of. So the front cover is about, I would say, about 100 yards away from where we scattered my dad's and my mum's, actually, because they were scattered together, ashes. So it's kind of like the great cycle of life, really.